Today, we're going to be talking about dysbiosis and intestinal repair. And again, I'm Liz Howard. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll go ahead and get going here. Okay, so again, we're back again. Next week is going to be food intolerances and allergies. Today, we're going to be discussing dysbiosis and intestinal repair. So we'll talk a little bit about dysbiosis. It's a common issue in the GI tract, the need for intestinal repair, and of course we'll work on some solutions. We'll chat about some products in our line, specifically Quanta-Gluta, Quanta-Bios, Quanta-Lostrum. We'll do a Q&A, and that's where you can unmute yourself and put some questions in the chat box. Thank you. And then we'll talk about aligning with FetoQuant. So just a short bit about myself. My name again is Liz Howard, and I am the National Educator and Clinical Consultant here with Steiner Labs. And I've been a clinical nutritionist and consultant for 15 years. I do have experience in clinical nutrition, several years of experience in clinical nutrition and counseling. I was also a bariatric nutritionist. I've worked with medical doctors and their patients in GI practices. And I do have experience extensively with helping doctors and licensed practitioners in their own practices implement products and protocols on various conditions. I do like to specialize in digestive wellness, imbalances, and micronutritional supplementation. And so that's why I'm here today, to help you folks. So 70 to 80% of the immune system really does lie in the gut. And it's helpful to just start here and begin to look at how in the small intestine, we have M cells. They present different foreign aspects that can be large food molecules, that can be infections, that can be just various different elements that are entering the body through the alimentary canal. So we do have other parts of the body or the immune system in the gut. That would include the tonsils. The tonsils do flag different invaders, bacteria, viruses, etc. And obviously you do have different immunity all along the gut, even in the saliva, etc. It's important that stomach acid is strong. Strong stomach acid does inoculate food, killing pathogens. As we move further down into the gut, we have Peyer's patches that are part of the gut-associated lymphoid tissue, and they really do provide the first major introduction between self and non-self. We also have aggravated lymph, and that appears at different GI checkpoints, namely the lower ileum, appendix, cecum, colon, and rectum. And so there's where B cells and T cells, so specific and non-specific immunity, are flagged, and different elements that are entering the body are really sorted out there. Okay, so what is dysbiosis? It's kind of a general term that you hear a lot, especially in the functional medical community, functional nutritional community. Dysbiosis can be defined as a reduction of microbial diversity and a combination of the loss of certain beneficial bacteria, such as bacteroid strains and butyrate-producing bacteria such as Firmicutes 10, and a rise in pathobionts, pathobionts 12, which are symbiotic bacteria that become pathogenic under certain conditions, including proteobacteria, which encompass gram-negative Escherichia coli, excuse me. So this is coming out of the textbook of Natural Medicine, 5th edition in 2020. The point here is that it's basically a change in the microbial diversity. That first particular line there is really good to highlight. So it's a change in the microbial diversity. And it really, what's going on there is you've got a change that is negatively affecting the person. So it could be affecting their weight. We now have a lot of studies about that. It could be affecting their overall health. They could be developing leaky gut, but basically that change in that microbial environment down in the GI tract does constitute what we would call dysbiosis. So gut microbiota really is affected by multiple factors. And just to talk about what these are, to put them in perspective, studies continue about the alteration in the Firmicutes Bacteroidetes ratio and how different phyla affect the incidence of obesity. So we are keeping an eye on, we have a lot more information now in studies and research about the different ratios of bacterial strains down in the gut and how they are affecting us. So there's a lot of study about the Firmicutes to Bacteroidetes ratio. In general, the higher that is, apparently the leaner the person is supposed to be. However, that information isn't 100% in. So there do seem to be different species of each of these particular microbes, Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes, and it doesn't appear that it holds true that a higher Firmicutes to Bacteroidetes ratio is going to be found always in a leaner person in all cases. So the information is still being gathered. Endotoxins or lipopolysaccharides are large lipids that are found in the outer ring of the gram-negative bacteria. So some of these LPSs are really affecting things down in the GI, really altering that gut bacteria balance. We do have also a lot of research coming in right now on prebiotic fibers and how prebiotic fibers are energized or fueled by polyphenols that are ingested. Polyphenols are also going to be coming from plants, just like the prebiotic fibers. And these two in synergy together, the prebiotics are kind of being energized and eating or being fermented. And what's happening is you have better GI metabolites, including a better balance of bacteria resulting. Or if you're not eating enough fibers and you're not eating a very healthy diet, that can, of course, be a very complex topic, there's going to be a less of a chance for positive short chain fatty acids, which fuel the intestine. So the short chain fatty acids are really the energy and the fuel, especially for the large intestine, and they do seem to really influence weight, and there's a lot of information about that now. Large undigested molecules like gluten contribute to increased dysbiosis because they bind to the cells on the intestinal tract there, triggering the immune system. So when you have large molecules that aren't getting digested, the research is in about gluten. It does perpetuate diabesity. That's kind of a term that's coming out now, etc. Chemicals abound in our environment and our foods and affect our guts. For example, one of the big ones being discussed, of course, is glyphosate. This we know doesn't have a good effect down in the GI tract, so it is also going to be contributing to issues like dysbiosis and imbalances. Infections cause multiple GI problems, which precipitate leaky gut and really other conditions. So yeah, infections do tend to kick off different problems. It is believed that infections can actually be the source of or the reason why an IBS condition develops, or maybe a bowel disease. Varied prebiotic fibers and polyphenols contribute to positive gut metabolites. So you have different types of prebiotic fibers and polyphenols that you want to emphasize. So let's take a look at some of those. Fenugreek, psyllium, those are present in our Quanta Digest product. By the way, acacia is another big one out on the scene. That's a really nice soluble fiber. And partially hydrolyzed guar gum. So soluble fibers, they tend to be more favorable for a lot of people for the reasons that they are really affecting and helping the gut. They're also more soothing, so a lot of IBS sufferers like them. But if you take a look at the picture here, you'll find that these particular fibers and polyphenols together are producing the right, quote unquote, right metabolites, the right SCFAs to continue to energize the intestinal tract, the right Firmicutes to Bacteroidetes ratio, etc. So again, just some additional benefits are going to be satiety, decreased cholesterol and triglycerides, better microbial balance.
Liz, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but apparently no one can see your slides.
Okay. It appears that they're showing in the main screen, so are people seeing them now? Do you see them, Elizabeth?
I can see them, but I don't count because I'm on the same view as you have.
Um, Liz, why don't you go to sharing and try to see, does it so, try hitting stop sharing screen and then show again,
Okay.
and then show again, hit it. Okay, people should be seeing it now. Can
Okay.
you go to settings 1 second?
Excuse me?
If you go to settings, no, that's not. Just trying to see why people don't see them. I'm not sure I understand. Why do people not see it?
Can you see them now? Okay, she
Okay,
sees them
now
now.
she sees them.
Okay,
Now
they
that's
can
what-
see them now. Okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. A few glitches today. We'll just keep plugging along here. I'm gonna pick back up here on this page about how varied prebiotics and probiotic fibers, prebiotic fibers and polyphenols really do contribute to positive gut metabolism. And we have our little picture over here that shows that different high fiber foods, and we talked about ones that have soluble fiber in them, and really do feed the gut microbiome, and they produce the right metabolites that continue to really fuel the intestinal tract there. So you produce SCFAs, they tend to be the main fuel down in the large intestine, and you just have a lot of positive things happening when this is going on. So here you can see that we've got these positive metabolites, et cetera. So just overall benefits of SCFAs, short chain fatty acids that are positive for metabolism include decreased cholesterol and triglycerides, better microbial balance, improved absorption of calcium and magnesium, reduced bacterial endotoxin levels, and improved blood sugar management. So those are some great benefits. So just we're talking about how gut microbiota is a balancing act. In general, the research is showing that if you have a high bacteroidetes ratio, you have more of a tendency toward obesity. They do have GI map tests out there that can help you to create a baseline for a client or patient with the GI map that includes this type of testing. What is the ratio between bacteroidetes and Firmicutes, excuse me. And in general, the reverse is true. So if you have a high Firmicutes ratio, in general, that is correlated to more lean body mass. So you can utilize some of those GI map panels potentially as a baseline with your patients. So a diagram of pathogenic bacteria acquiring attachment sites, obviously you want to work with probiotics, you want to work with positive prebiotics, because when there is a competition going on between these bad microbes, of course, we want the positive, good microbes to win out. So over here on the left, just some examples of good and bad bacteria flora that are notable. Bifidobacteria, there's a lot of research on this. It's been shown to really support positive immune response and work as an immune modulator. It does prevent pathogens. And Escherichia coli, several types inhabit the human gut, excuse me. They're involved in the production of vitamin K2, which is very important, and it helps to keep bad bacteria in check. So again, you have a lot of great metabolites coming from these good bacteria. Lactobacilli, beneficial varieties, produce vitamins and nutrients and boost immunity and protect against carcinogens. So Those are 3 good bacteria that are found in the gut. And then here are some of the quote unquote negative bacteria. Campylobacter, these strains commonly are associated with human disease and infection, usually occurs through the ingestion of contaminated foods. Enterococcus, a common cause of post-surgical infections, and of course, C. difficile, one that you probably have seen a lot of your patients or clients or some of them with. A lot of people can pick that up in hospitals, and it can really bother somebody for many, many years. It goes kind of in and out of dormancy and then activity, but it's the most harmful following a course of antibiotics, and that can allow it to proliferate. So that's something to keep in mind there. So again, probiotics and prebiotics are going to help to implant the good guys, and that's really important here. So just to go back over on more of a physiological level and also a biochemical level, we'll talk again about the cascade here. And imbalanced flora, like a high Bacteroidetes ratio and a lower Bifidobacterium or Lactobacillus ratio, is going to precipitate more problems. So we have that over here on the right-hand side. What it does is it tends to activate zonulin. So if we've got what we call diabetogenic foods, it's going to activate zonulin. That would include things with gluten in them. And that's going to cause the gut to want to flush everything out. So the zonulin comes in, it takes up these receptor sites, it opens the junctions. It's like the gateway between the intestinal lining and the endothelium, and it starts letting things through. So the immune system goes up to high alert, and there we have more of an immune response. So when we're eating a better diet, when we chew our food really well, we have a lower Bacteroidetes ratio or less of a negative bacterial ratio. We don't have zonulin really able to break apart the intestinal cells, and so we don't have that high immune response. And we'll be talking more about that next week on Thursday evening in our next seminar on basically tight junctions and SIBO. So I'm not going to just go through all of the biochemistry here, but it's worth just taking a look at how this cascades. And just as I mentioned, a gluten-free diet and possibly hydrolyzed casein diet really does prevent activation of the zonulin pathway. So that's an important notable item there, and that's pretty prevalent in the research. So just a few things about us. Our transparency is exceptional. We do comply with exceptional environmental standards, and we're not using any pesticides or sprays. We use permacultural farming and planting. We grow many, many herbs right within 80 square acres of our production facility. We utilize ultrasound extraction. So we don't use any solvents or chemicals in extracting the nutrients from the plants. And we believe in the importance of water. So the Grander method has been well researched. It helps to zero out water, revitalize water, so that we can utilize it effectively in the ultrasound process. And we're also a proponent of quantum energy. So PhytoQuant uses geobiology at its facility in Italy. So we are going to just tell you about some of our 15 exclusive digestive health products today, and they're made in Italy. They're pesticide-free, non-GMO, gluten-free, and high potency. And just to say, we are of course following in line with what Hippocrates found, which was that all disease begins in the gut. So we think it's great to be offering you our 15 gut-related products, with potentially more on the way. So 3 products we'll go over today are Quantolostrum, Quantagluta, and Quantabiose. These statements really have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Steiner Labs cannot provide medical advice or guidance, and you should seek advice from a medical professional before making any diet or lifestyle changes. Oops. Okay, so quantagluta, L-glutamine is really a major fuel source in the body. This is really the most abundant free amino acid that's available. And so it is a fuel for brain cells, immune cells, and intestinal cells. So when you're thinking about repairing the intestinal lining, this is really one of the most important products. It's one of the little lights that goes off in my brain about something that I can utilize with a patient or client. And it really does aid in athlete recovery, repairing the height and strength of intestinal lining, as well as the junctions, synthesis and protection of muscle tissue, production of glycogen, and immune and muscular stress. So just to let you know, our quantagluta is derived from the fermentation of non-GMO corn. And we suggest taking it between meals and working with clients and patients to heal and repair. So you can start with 2 to 4 capsules a day between meals, so 2 and 2, and then you can move up from there. And just to talk about therapeutic doses, 1 gram is therapeutic. That's going to be 2 capsules. But definitely when someone's working on GI repair and does well with L-glutamine, you can increase that dosage, and 3 grams and above is also very therapeutic and appropriate in some instances. So quantolostrum, this is the foremilk secreted by the mammary glands of the cow, and it has a light yellow color. It's very high caloric. It contains a lot of immune components, protein, antibodies, lymphocytes, and also lactase enzymes. And these nutrients are really there to support the body's defense systems and help with trophicity and regaining integrity down in the GI lining. So its uses are to protect the intestinal wall, promote the process involved in the growth of tissues. It is seen as an antibacterial as well, and able to replenish the intestinal mucosa. It is an immunological nutrient. It's a great idea right now, just in our current environment with the pandemic. A partial or total lactase deficiency can also respond. Keep in mind that 49 milligrams of the lactase that's present in this product is about the amount in a broad spectrum enzyme. So it's not a lot of lactase enzyme, but it's a pretty good way to address a meal with a little bit of dairy. And you could couple that too with our Quantazime, which is a really great enzyme product. So the way to take this is 2 capsules in the morning apart from a meal. 1 to 3 months you can utilize this, and then you can go down to 1 cap after that for maintenance. But it's a really great way to boost immunity and work on shoring up the digestion. Colostrum, our colostrum is obtained from the first milk from cruelty-free cows and free-range happy cows. So we're really obtaining it very, very close to our production plant in Italy. Unlike a lot of other companies that are obtaining their colostrum from New Zealand, and there's a great length of shipment from where they're obtaining it and where it's being manufactured into a supplement. So the Frisian and Red Vache variety of cows are from the Parma region of Italy. So the Parmesan standards and region have to comply with very, very high standards. So this is a sustainably sourced process, and there's 0 animal testing happening. So just a little bit more, another supplement to add into the mix here would be our Quantabiose. And this is a really great anti-dysbiosis supplement, and that's why we use the word biose. And so it's great to combat bloating, gas, infections, diarrhea, inflammation, and intestinal spasms. So this is the product that's designed for those types of issues. And the actual high-powered plants that are within it are turmeric, cinnamon, ginger, clove, oregano, and thyme. So there's a large amount of turmeric in there, And this is a really great product for reducing inflammation and really eliminating or reducing infectional issues going on. And you can utilize this with probiotics, or you could utilize this for a time and then add in more probiotics. Again, it is usually going to be in a regimen where there is the recognition that there's an infection involved. So this is a great product for a lot of dysbiosis conditions. So some additional support, again, you can utilize QuantaFlora, that is our prebiotic formula with coriander, and this would be 2 caps per day. You can take it with a glass of water in the morning. You could take it before bed. Alternatively, some people like to do it about 10 to 15 minutes after breakfast when the stomach acid is dilute. And Quanta EPP is really going to minimize any intestinal dysbiosis or infection as well. So keep that in mind if you think your client or patient would really benefit from grapefruit seed extract, excuse me. This is a great product. It really does knock out a lot of stuff, including funguses, bacteria, and viruses, and it's a great immune booster as well. And a couple of other products just to mention, QuantaFeel, we like to use that in combination with QuantaFlora, and it has a disinfecting type of effect or an antiseptic type of effect with the chlorophyll, and it also has a lot of minerals, so it really does help membranes if there's any type of dysbiosis down in the GI tract or infection. It can be a real benefit and help to implant the probiotics better. So Quanta Alkaline, this is great for raising pH so that the bad microbes and some of the bad guys don't proliferate. So I think that's also a great thought. It's a great multi-mineral formula as well. So a couple of customer reviews to note. QuantaBios comments were by Mia V. Excellent. I'm starting treatment again. It helps me a lot. My practitioner often uses another brand, but I compared them and their product is full of excipients. Your products are natural without fillers. I like it. I often talk about this product to people around me. It's up to them to test it. So that's a great review. And Quanta Lostrum by Ethan G, prescribed by my naturopath. It helps improve my digestion. Quanta Gluta, a very good product by Patricia L. I've been using it for many years for a recurrent rash on my skin linked to my food allergies. So many of us know that a lot of different skin conditions are oftentimes associated too with dysbiosis or leaky gut. So a couple of testimonials from some of our awesome practitioners out there. Lauren Minchin is a registered dietitian who focuses on gut health in New York City. And she said there are a lot of products on the market, but it's really hard to find ones that are high quality. That's why I prefer PhytoQuant. And then our second practitioner, Marie Valliard, PhytoQuant made sense to me. Their supplements are as natural as possible, and I'm amazed at the quality. So do we have any questions today? We'll see if anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask, or if anybody else from Steiner Labs knows of a question out there that we might have. Okay, folks, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. And the next step would be, of course, to look into aligning with us. We have a number of great practitioners on board, and we can just schedule a call. We can do a Zoom preliminary call to talk about your practice and the potential to align with us. And then you're eligible after that call for free samples. We'd also appreciate it if next session, next Tuesday at 12 p.m., you'd like to bring a practitioner along, and there are some potential benefits involved for you. If you do, that would be awesome. Thank you. And thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here to support you in your practice. So please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything about today's presentation. Again, we're going to be doing kind of an offshoot presentation next Thursday at 6 p.m. I'll be involved with that as well. And that's going to be on tight junctions and SIBO. So it should be a very interesting offshoot. And again, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to stay involved. Let us know more about your practice and your questions. And please go ahead and use this complimentary discount code LEARN30, and we'll go ahead and allow you a 30% discount. It's a one-time use deal. So at your checkout, you just enter capital LEARN 30, and you receive 30% off as many products as you'd like. So it was great being here again today, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.